So, you may have noticed around campus there are questions pertaining to environmental issues found here on campus. The purpose of these questions is to draw attention to the issues in being environmentally friendly on a campus which is not really doing everything that it could. My hope is that some students will see these questions and think about the answer and hopefully do the same research I did and find out the answers for themselves. Can you state your name for me?
Caitlin,
And Caitlin, can you please read this question for me?
where do you take empty ink cartridges?
And where do you take yours?
I know that you're not supposed to throw them out, but I'm pretty sure that is what I typically do. I think you might be supposed to take them back to Staples or wherever you got them.
That's true. You can take them to Staples, or if you're an OU student, you can actually take them to the Tech Depot where they'll recycle them properly. So please state your name.
Shelby Scott.
And can you read the question for me?
Alright, how much of OU's coal power is from mountaintops?
Do you know the answer to that question, Shelby?
No, I don't.
Do you want to guess any percentage for me?
64.
Close. The actual answer is actually 77% comes from mountaintop removal. Ohio University students should be aware of the vast amounts of waste and harmful habits produced by students. Can you state your name for me?
My name's Olivia.
And Olivia, can you read this question for us?
How many tons of waste does OU produce yearly?
Okay, and do you know the answer to this question?
No, but I can guess.
Okay, give me your best guess.
I would say, let's say 10.
Okay, the answer is actually 5,000. 5,000 tons. So at this point, you may be asking yourself, where can I find this information? Or maybe, how did I find it? All you have to do is Google things such as Ohio University Energy or Athens 45701 trash. Okay, can you state your name for me?
Grant.
And Grant, can you read this question for us?
Are your lights turned off right now?
And are they?
They are.
And before you leave your room, do you usually check to see if your lights are on?
I always switch to turn them off.
What about bathrooms or other buildings that aren't necessarily your room?
The bathroom lights are normally always on.
Do you ever think about turning them off if no one's in there?
I actually don't.
Can you state your name for me?
My name's Marcel.
Okay, and can you read this question for me?
How many tons of waste does OU produce yearly?
And do you know the answer to that?
No.
Can you give me a guess
I have no idea.
of tons?
It's probably several elephants worth of waste.
The answer is actually over 5,000 tons.
5? Shit.
Can you state your name for me?
Claire?
And Claire, can you read this question for us?
Sure. How many tons of waste does OU produce yearly?
And do you have any guess as to how much that is?
I'm gonna guess 3 tons.
3 tons?
Yeah.
Okay, the answer is actually 5,000.
Oh,
We have
oh my
5,000
gosh.
tons of waste every
That's
year.
a lot.
It is a lot. And please state your name for me.
Lizzie George.
And can you read the question for me, Lizzie?
How much of OU's coal power is from mountaintops?
And do you know the answer to that question?
No.
Would you like to guess a percentage for me?
30%.
The actual answer is 77% is coming from mountaintop removal.
Oh my god.
Can you state your name for me?
Teresa,
And Teresa, can you read the question for us?
how many tons of ECO2 does OU emit yearly?
And do you have a guess on how much that is?
I'm gonna guess 10 tons.
10 tons. All right. Well, in 2007, it was 72,423 metric tons.
Oh my god.
Can you state your name for me?
My name is Tyler.
And Tyler, can you read this question for me?
The question is, what items cannot be composted?
And do you know the answer to that question?
I know that a lot of plastics can't be composted, and stuff like aluminum foil that you would use for like sandwiches and stuff.
Okay, and do you believe that all the items in Baker can be composted?
I know that some of them cannot because there's trash cans and compost cans, and there are little signs that have pictures of things that can't be composted, so I
Okay.
know that some of them can't.
And did you know that liquids cannot be composted?
No, I didn't. I just assumed that they would soak into the ground or something.
Nope. And also the forks and knives and spoons, which are technically compostable at Baker, are actually sorted through and thrown out because they cannot break them down fast enough. Do you find that a little pointless?
That is pointless, and those signs that I talked about, I think actually have utensils on there as like compostable, so it kind of doesn't make sense that we put them in the compost pile.
Ideally, at least 100 students will see a question or two and ask themselves if they know the answer. If they don't know, hopefully they will look it up.